So, people, we are going to wait for some people to join us before start reading through the bylaws. Right now, I am by myself. Uh, so, give it a few minutes and probably start in about 5 minutes. As a reminder, the Gettysburg Summit is coming up in about 2 weeks on May 20th. Looking forward to get these bylaws adopted and install our officers. You have the opportunity, please go to our summit campaign at forwardparty.com slash donate underscore Pennsylvania. Uh, so far, we have raised about $7,500. So we're getting there. It's maybe me reading the bylaws to a void screen. It's being recorded, so people can uh, view view it at their leisure. As a reminder, we did send out a newsletter what has various links. We do have one more framework session before we take a break for a few weeks. I don't believe that was on. I believe that was not listed on the uh, newsletter, but coming up we have uh, candidate training on Wednesday at 7:30 p.m. Uh, our drop-ins are on Mondays still, and our statewide meeting is scheduled for May 22nd at 8 p.m. Please see the events and links on the Pennsylvania website. I do have a cough, which is why I'm uh, have a cough drop in my mouth right now. Give it a minute or two to see if any late stragglers are looking to get on. It is 3 o'clock right now, so Yeah, the framework. This week's framework session is going to be led by Ali on a discussion on drug policy. Ali is a professor at Temple University and has been a valuable contributor to past framework sessions, both as a facilitator and a participant. So, well, looks like I'm going to be doing this by myself. Alrighty. Share my screen here. There we go. There's one. Yep. Okay. These are the bylaws of the Pennsylvania Forward Party. This is a draft, but it is pretty well complete. Let us know if you have any questions or comments, but let's get to it. Article 1, Purpose. To create and support a statewide political organization to advance the principles, objectives, and platforms of the Pennsylvania Forward Party, and to secure the election of all duly nominated candidates and electors thereof, these bylaws are established. Article 2, Elections Policy. All applicable provisions of the Pennsylvania Election Code shall be part of these bylaws. Article 3, Membership. The state committee shall have the power to determine the criteria of membership to the Pennsylvania Forward Party. Number 2, the state committee shall have the power to define the criteria to revoke membership from the Pennsylvania Forward Party. Article 4, Officers. Officers of Pennsylvania Forward Party shall mean the following individuals: the state chair, the regional chairs, the state secretary, the state treasurer, and the head of fundraising. Duties. The state chair, uh, state chair. The state chair shall be the chief executive officer of the party and chair of the state committee and the executive committee. Uh, the state chair shall issue the call of all general meetings, state committee meetings, and executive committee meetings of the party. The state chair shall serve and enforce the bylaws and rules of the parties. The state chair shall appoint necessary staff members. The state chair shall have the power to appoint the state treasurer upon consent of a majority of the state committee. This is because we want to have a treasurer filled as all the time. Sorry. Except for the state treasurer, all appointments of the state chair shall be subject to the approval of the executive committee unless that power is specifically granted to another body in these bylaws. The state chair shall be ex officio a member of all committees and subcommittees. The state chair shall act as necessary to promote the functions of the party. The state chair shall have the state chair shall have such powers and duties as are otherwise prescribed in these bylaws. Regional chairs. A regional chair may act as the state chair in the event of absence of the state chair at any party function. Regional chairs shall be responsible for building county organizations within their respective regions and serve as the contact person for unorganized counties. Regional chairs shall perform other duties the state chair may prescribe. All candidates to fill a vacancy of a regional chair must reside in the region they seek to serve. The regional chair and vice chair shall have such powers and duties as are otherwise prescribed in these bylaws. Sorry about that. The state secretary. The state secretary shall be the chief clerical officer of the party. The state secretary shall keep a record of the general meetings, state committee meetings, executive committee meetings, and the state convention, which shall be the property of the Pennsylvania Forward Party. The state secretary shall perform other duties the state chair may prescribe. The state secretary shall have such powers and duties as are otherwise prescribed in these bylaws. State treasurer. The state treasurer shall keep the financial records for the party. The state treasurer shall be responsible for fulfilling federal, state, and local financial disclosure requirements if applicable. The state treasurer shall, at the direction of the state chair, issue all checks and payment of party obligations. The state secretary or the state treasurer shall have such powers and duties as are otherwise prescribed in these bylaws. Head of fundraising. The head of fundraising will devise and implement strategies to build and manage partnerships, working creatively to establish new income streams from major donor sources. The head of fundraising shall have such powers and duties as are otherwise prescribed in these bylaws. Election and terms. The state chair shall be elected by the state convention held during presidential years for a four-year term, for a term of 4 years, or until such time that a successor is elected. The state secretary shall be elected by the state convention held during congressional midterm years for a term of 4 years, or until such time that a successor is elected. Regional chairs. The regional chairs shall be elected by the region for a 4-year term. Half of the regional chairs shall be elected in the odd years after the presidential election. The other half shall be elected in the odd years before the presidential election. One of the regional chairs shall be the vice chair of the Pennsylvania Forward Party. The regional chair named as vice chair shall be determined by a majority vote amongst all of the executive committee. The state chair shall have the power to appoint the state treasurer upon consent of a majority of the state committee. This is to help ensure that the Pennsylvania Forward Party always has a treasurer. At the beginning of their term, the state chair shall appoint a state treasurer to serve for the 4-year term of the state chair and until the subsequent state chair appoints a replacement treasurer. Prior to being appointed, the state chair shall conduct a background check on their appointee. The head of fundraising shall be elected by the state committee. The state chair shall only vote in this election in the case of a tie. The election will take place during the state convention held during midterm years. The head of fundraising shall serve a 4-year term. In order to be a candidate for the head of fundraising, the candidate must undergo a background check. The background check is to ensure that anybody handling the money of the Pennsylvania Forward Party has been thoroughly vetted. Uh, the interim officers shall serve a term expiring on the sitting of the initial state chair, regional chairs, and state secretary elected prior to the 2023 Gettysburg Summit. The initial term of the state chair and treasurer shall expire in 2024. The initial terms of half of the regional chairs shall expire in 2025. The initial terms of the secretary and head of fundraising shall expire in 2026. The initial terms of the remaining regional chairs shall expire in 2027. Term limits. Due to your input, we have determined that no person may serve in the same office in the Pennsylvania Forward Party for more than 2 complete 4-year terms. Thank you for voting. Removal. Removal. An officer of the Pennsylvania Forward Party may be removed upon the vote of 3/4 of the members present at any duly convened meeting of the state committee. A treasurer can be removed upon the request of the state chair. A state chair can request the removal of a state treasurer only if the state chair has a replacement appointment prepared. This removal shall be subject to a majority vote of the state committee. The state chair may participate in this vote. A vote to remove a current state treasurer is an automatic vote in favor of the state chair's replacement state treasurer. A state treasurer appointed by the current state chair can only be removed over the objection of the state chair with the consent of 2/3 of the state committee. A vote to remove a current state treasurer is an automatic vote in favor of the state chair's replacement state treasurer. The removed state treasurer shall serve until the replacement state treasurer is seated. If an officer while in office is convicted of a felony, a vote to remove shall be triggered automatically at the next state committee meeting. This vote to remove shall only require a majority vote of the state committee. Note that this is a felony conviction, not a charge. They have to be convicted. Vacancies. If a vacancy occurs of the state chair, then the person named as vice chair shall become the state chair for the remainder of the term. In this event, the sitting treasurer will serve for the remainder of the new state chair's term. The new state chair cannot name a new treasurer unless they go through the removal process as outlined by these bylaws, as I just stated above. If a vacancy occurs of a regional chair, head of fundraising, or the state secretary, the state committee shall make a call for nominations and appoint a suitable person to fill the vacancy on an interim basis until the officer's next election. A state chair shall nominate a state treasurer at the next state committee if a vacancy should occur. Membership, or sorry, Article 5, State Committee. This is the main one. So, uh, membership of the state the membership of the state committee shall be composed of the following: the state chair, the regional chairs, the state secretary, the state treasurer, the head of fundraising, the immediate past state chair, the chair of each county committee that is officially organized, the chair and other officers of each officially organized county committee shall be elected in accordance with the rules and bylaws of the respective county organizations. Vacancies occurring in the officers of officially organized county committees shall be filled in accordance with the rules and bylaws of the respective county organization. Uh, any at-large members of the executive committee shall also be a member of the state committee. Furthermore, the state chair may appoint additional members to serve on the state committee, subject to the approval of by the remaining members of the state committee. All members of the state committee shall be registered voters in the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania. We are C, a requirement to be registered with the Pennsylvania Forward Party shall not be a requirement to be a member of the state committee. So if you want to remain a Democrat or Republican, you can still serve on the state committee. Duties. The state committee shall be the general governing body of the Pennsylvania Forward Party. The state committee shall have the power to clarify any ambiguities of these bylaws. The state committee shall have the power to create, merge, or terminate subcommittees to work on the various projects of the Pennsylvania of actually should put that there. The state committee shall have the power to create, merge, or terminate subcommittees to work on the various projects of the Pennsylvania Forward Party. The state committee shall have the power to set or adjust the number of regions of the Pennsylvania Forward Party. The state committee shall have the power to set or adjust the regional boundaries of the Pennsylvania Forward Party. As an aside, we will be determining, I hope we will be determining that at the Gettysburg Summit, but that remains to be seen. Uh, the state committee shall have the power to establish a vetting committee. The state committee shall have the power to define the powers and duties of the vetting committee. The state committee shall be responsible for setting the salary of the officers of the Pennsylvania Forward Party. The initial officers shall be volunteers and shall not initially receive a salary until such time as the state committee deems acceptable. So if you didn't know, all our officers of the Pennsylvania Forward Party are volunteers right now, and we are doing everything to further the cause of the Pennsylvania Forward Party and the Forward Party nationally. Unless stated otherwise, the decisions of the state committee shall be by a simple majority of the members present. The state committee shall have such powers and duties as are otherwise prescribed in these bylaws. Meetings. The state committee shall meet at least 10 different times in a calendar year. These meetings may be conducted in person via video conference, phone, or other means. The state committee shall have the power to meet more than these 10 times a year. Meetings of the state committee cannot be called to order without a quorum present. A quorum of the state committee shall consist of half of the current members. The executive committee. Let me get it right. Article 6. Executive committee. The executive committee shall consist of 12 individuals, the state chair, the vice chair, at least 2 other regional chairs, the state secretary, the state treasurer, the head of fundraising, the immediate past state chair, and additional at-large members to increase the number of individuals on the executive committee to 12 members. At-large members of the executive committee shall be members of the Pennsylvania Forward Party, voted upon by the members of the state committee. At-large members shall serve for 2 terms, at-large members shall serve for 2 years. An at-large member may serve for additional terms. Membership in the executive committee for non-officers may be revoked on the vote of 3/4 of the members present in person at any duly convened meeting of the executive committee. Duties. The executive committee shall be responsible for the management of the affairs, properties, or funds of the party consistent with the articles of incorporation, the bylaws, and any resolutions which may be adopted by the state committee or at a convention. The executive committee shall have the power to act in place of the state committee in areas where the state committee has specifically authorized. The executive committee shall have the power to formulate and provide for the execution of such policies, plans, and measures as it may deem conducive to the best interests of the Pennsylvania Forward Party and in conformity with these bylaws. The executive committee shall call all regular and special state conventions and make arrangements therefore, including the basis of representation, the time and place. The executive committee shall have the power to promulgate rules not inconsistent with these bylaws to regulate any of the functions or activities provided for herein, or as may be necessary to comply with state or federal election laws. The executive committee shall have the power to make decisions concerning special elections for all statewide races, or federal elections, or judicial elections, or elections for the Pennsylvania General Assembly. Unless stated otherwise, the decisions of the executive committee shall be by a simple majority vote of the members present. The executive committee shall have such powers and duties as are otherwise prescribed in these bylaws. Meetings. The executive committee shall meet at least 4 times in a calendar year. These meetings may be conducted in person, via video conference, phone, or other means. The executive committee shall have the power to meet more than these 4 times a year. Meetings of the executive committee cannot be called to order without a quorum present. A quorum of the executive committee shall consist of half of the current members. General meetings. There shall be a general meeting in at least 10 different months in a calendar year. A general meeting shall be a meeting in which all of the members of the Pennsylvania Forward Party are welcome. As an aside, our next general meeting is on May 22nd, the first Monday after our Gettysburg Summit. Article 8, voting. Whenever practical, ranked choice instant runoff voting shall be implemented. Voting shall be by secret ballot for the election of officers or party nominations or endorsements or adopting or amending the platform. Other votes shall be by show of hand unless any member of the committee shall call for a roll call vote. A person holding multiple offices shall not be entitled to more than one vote. Unless digital means has been utilized, any voting member who wants to vote in absentia, shall designate his vote on a written form which shall be signed, dated, and submitted in written or electronic form to the state secretary. Use of electronic apps, including phone apps, shall be allowed to conduct voting. Article 9, State Convention. Every even year, the Pennsylvania Forward Party shall hold a convention to conduct such business as may properly come before it. The state committee shall determine a time and place to hold this convention. Excuse me. The call for the state convention shall be issued by the state chair. Prior to this convention, the state committee shall adopt rules of order to be followed at this convention. The state chair shall have the power to appoint a parliamentarian for deciding questions of parliamentary procedure. Except as otherwise stated, the sitting state chair shall preside at the state convention. The state chair shall have the power to appoint a presider to preside over the convention. If a presider has not been appointed, the vice chair shall preside over the election of the state chair. In the event that the vice chair is also a candidate for the office of state chair, then the most senior regional chair who is not a candidate for the office of state chair shall preside over the election of the state chair. The affirmative vote of the delegates present and voting at the state convention shall be the act of the convention. The newly elected party officers shall begin their duties immediately following the state convention. Every member in good standing of the party as of 30 days prior to the convention and remaining in good standing throughout the convention shall be entitled to a delegate or shall be entitled to be a delegate at the state convention by attending in person, provided that the state committee may prescribe registration fees to be registered as a delegate. Any member seeking to be present, or sorry, let me start that again. Any member seeking to present a resolution at the convention shall present the resolution to the executive committee at least 30 days prior to the convention. Whenever practical, ranked choice instant runoff voting shall be implemented. Article 10, Rules for Counties. Counties and districts may adopt their own rules and bylaws subject to the approval by the state committee. The state committee shall have the power to require county treasurers, heads of fundraising, county chairs, or other officers of county committees to undergo a background check. Officially organized county committees meeting the criteria established by the state committee shall be formally recognized as the official county committee of the party. There shall not be more than one official committee for each county. In the absence of such bylaws, these bylaws shall govern. Article 11, Mergers. Another political party or political Another political party or political body may merge into the Pennsylvania Forward Party if and only if the merger is approved by a two-thirds majority vote of the members of the political party or political body wishing to merge with the Pennsylvania Forward Party, and the merger is approved by a two-thirds majority vote of the members present a general meeting of the Pennsylvania Forward Party, and the merger is approved by a two-thirds majority vote of the members present at a state committee meeting of the Pennsylvania Forward Party, and the merger is approved by a two-thirds majority vote of the members present at an executive committee meeting of the Pennsylvania Forward Party, and the merger would not violate our affiliation agreement, any laws of the United States of America, or of the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania. Article 12, Use of the party name. No person, group of persons, or organization shall use the name or address or emblem of the party or website or domain name or Facebook page or Twitter page or Instagram page or any other social media page of the Pennsylvania Forward Party for commercial purposes unless authorized by a vote of the executive committee and not in violation of our affiliation agreement. Article 13, Parliamentary Authority. The state committee shall adopt rules of order to be followed. The state chair shall have the power to appoint a parliamentarian for deciding questions of parliamentary procedure. The state chair shall have the power to appoint a presider. Article 14, Alternative Dispute Resolution. If an internal dispute arises and if the dispute cannot be settled through negotiation, These bylaws shall require that the parties to first try in good faith to settle the dispute by mediation. If the dispute cannot be resolved in mediation, the dispute shall then be submitted to binding arbitration. Article 15. Amendment of bylaws. Unless otherwise stated, these bylaws may be amended by a 2/3 vote of the state committee or by a 2/3 vote of the state convention. Under exigent circumstances as declared by the state committee by a majority vote, the executive committee shall be authorized to make amendments to these bylaws. Amendments made pursuant to this process shall be subject to review and ratification by the members of the Pennsylvania Forward Party at the next general meeting. Ratification of these changes shall require a majority vote of the members present at the next general meeting. Until the vote of ratification, the changes made by the executive committee shall be in force. And that is the end of the bylaws. I had this was is it is a little disappointing that I am doing this by myself, but so I don't have any questions. I had allotted a bit more time for that, but uh, I hold on a sec. There we go. But this will work as well. That those are the draft bylaws of the Pennsylvania Forward Party. I hope you, if you have any comments, concerns, or questions, please contact one of the officers. Myself probably would be the easiest. My contact information is uh, B as you can email me at the following address: B as in boy, the number 8, A as in 8, or sorry, B as in boy, the number 8, A as in apple, the number 8, V as in Victor, the number 1 at yahoo.com. Yeah. And you can see. I know it's backwards, so sorry. Well, if you have time, please consider donating. If you have uh, the ability, please consider donating to our summits campaign. We are trying to pay for the Gettysburg Summit and to send as many people to the Denver Summit in June, and it will. And doing all that, and we also hope to have any leftover money would be used to support the candidates we uh, will be supporting this fall and in future years. So any little bit helps. So please consider donating at forwardparty.com slash uh, uh, sorry. Please consider donating at forwardparty.com /donate _Pennsylvania. And please only do so according to your interest and capacity. Don't send yourself to the poorhouse to support us. But yeah, that was the bylaws, and I will be ending this meeting. Have a good one.